Hello, friends. I hope you're having a wonderful summer. I want to welcome you to our Friday Summer Live. Today, we're talking about how to avoid false positive AI detection. In case you haven't noticed, AI is taking over. If you're reading it on the internet, chances are it was written by AI. It's fast, easy to use, accessible, and honestly, the essays that it creates, even at this early stage and even on free platforms that I've tested out, they're pretty good if you know how to prompt it right. But as AI use is on the rise, educational institutions, thank goodness, are holding firm on the line of authentic and unique writing. In fact, AI use has joined the plagiarism category with stiff and unalterable consequences that can follow you throughout your life, barring entrance to other institutions as well. AI and plagiarism is a really big deal. Your student needs to know that using AI to create or revise their work is strictly forbidden, and that using it even to edit might result in censure and consequences. Let's start by assuming that your student is writing their own papers. That's a great place to start. That alone is not enough to protect them. We use AI checkers. Most institutions are using AI checkers, and they're not infallible. They're not able to check if it was actually written by AI. They can only check to what percent it bears resemblance to patterns that AI uses and language choices that AI makes. Now, the big problem is the more that we read websites all over, the more that we listen to the news, which is very often AI generated scripting, the more we're likely to write the way that we have read or heard, the more likely we are to write like AI. So our students need to learn how to protect themselves. And the very first thing that they can do is to read widely from all types of real books instead of just web pages. Read old books, read new books, read nonfiction, read fiction, read all kinds of things in different kinds of time periods, in different kinds of locations. This is going to help them incorporate vocabulary and writing patterns that will become their own, and they won't be like AI at all. The second thing they can do is to use the writing process and to keep their work and show their process. If they use a Google Doc or something similar that keeps revisions in its memory, then if they're accused of AI use, they can share their Google document with all its revisions, and that will prove that they have revised and changed and revised and changed, and this is their own work. So let me show you what that looks like. This is an essay of a student, and this is on Google Docs. If you go up to the clock, it says it was last edited 20 minutes ago because I took the student's first name off, but now you're going to get to see my edit anyway. Okay, I took the student's first name off for their privacy, but there it is. Okay, so we see all of the revisions that we have. So July 19th, I made a revision. It's in purple. So you can see that there. If we click back, see, we can see all of these. This is her essay. If we click back to February 9th, oh, she changed it to a capital. She changed some spelling. She changed some things here. If you go down, so she was doing some editing. It doesn't keep every single edit. I don't know how often it saves and puts it on there, but she may have done just a little bit of editing that day. If we go back another day, we see that she's added the name block. We see that she's added a space up at the top, put the title in, added her sources. And so she's made a bunch of changes here. There's her sources all added. Oh, she changed this. She moved it over. So we see that she's done a lot of work. So let's go back near the beginning. And the instructions were here. This is where her document started. So because this is a course assignment document, it has the instructions on it. And then she copied and pasted this in. I would expect to see this copy and pasted in because I also have the assignment before and all the work on that one, and the assignment before that and all the work on that one. But when your student is going to post-secondary, don't keep a whole bunch of different documents and copy and paste and move it and copy and paste and move it the way we do in class. You want to have one document from start to finish, and you want to have everything there. So have a document with all your research notes and sources, have a separate document with all of your outlining and writing. Just keep it all on the same one. And then before you hand it in, delete the pieces you don't need. You know, so if you won't need your outline and your final copy when you submit it and all of that. But that way you have a copy that has all of your revisions. It's going to show that you've done this work. The problem is when a school or a teacher sees something come in and it just looks like this. Oh, they copied and pasted that whole thing in. Where do they copy and paste that in from? Hopefully from somewhere else they've written, but more than likely from an AI source or it's plagiarism. So that's what they're looking for as well. But if you can have this in your back pocket, the school accuses them of using AI, then they can say, oh, that's not true. I have a Google document that has all my revisions on it. I can send that to you and you can actually prove your case. So that's a really good thing to have ready. Always have it. Don't ever delete it. You don't know at what point they're going to come back and say that you plagiarized or that you were using AI. So keep that. Make sure that your student learns to keep excellent organization. So they'll have like one course with all of their writing. The titles of the documents should be something logical so that they can find it again. Make sure that they learn those skills, those organizational skills. They're so, so important. Now, the rest of the ways that we can help our students learn to be able to write in a way that is not going to be flagged as AI generated, okay, are all writing skills. So AI checkers measure the unpredictability of a sequence of language in text because AI will be very predictable. The computer, the AI checker, recognizes how AI writes, and if it is not written in that predictable pattern, then they say it's not written by AI. But if it is written in that predictable pattern, then they say it is written by AI, which is why we want to be reading all kinds of things so we can learn new patterns and ideas. So we want to make sure that students learn to change up their writing, to rearrange their sentence phrases and clauses, change up the lengths of sentences, rearrange word order, improve their verbs and phrasing. In short, we want them to learn to write at a higher level. AI uses a lot of common language choices. Have you noticed when you're reading websites that everyone kind of sounds the same? They all use the same vocabulary and they all use the same buzz phrases, and everything is very, very similar. We want our students' writing to stand out and to be different, and to do that with a wide vocabulary. So students need to learn new words and replace old and easily chosen words with words that they might have had to work a little bit harder to find. The other thing they can do is to not repeat phrases and ideas. So you don't want to have your student repeating a phrase again and again and again. That's just bad writing, but it's something that AI often does in order to keep coherence. And so we want to use coherent language with transitions instead of repeating the same phrases or ideas again and again. Here's something, this is a pet peeve of mine. I tell my students all of the time, but this is going to flag it as AI as well. Using words like first, next, conclusion, foremost, firstly, secondly, finally. We don't have to number. We don't have to number our reasons. We can just talk about them. The next thing is to just not use AI tools. Just don't use them. So edit and plan and write your own content. But again, if you're not increasing your vocabulary or your grammar skills or your writing skills, you still may be flagged for AI content. And just two more things. We want to write more words. We want to fill out our ideas and our paragraphs with why it matters and to give explanations. So we say our reason, and then we give our evidence. That's our fact that we found somewhere. And then we want to add an explanation in our own words about the evidence that we find and how it proves our reason. So this is a really important pattern that we can use in order to make our writing better, to make it more persuasive, and to just fill it out in a way that AI isn't going to do. And the last thing is to avoid formulas. So don't format every paragraph the same way. One introduction sentence, one reason, one piece of evidence, one short explanation, one conclusion sentence. You want your paragraphs to be of all different types, all different proof orders, and you want them to be interesting. Maybe some of them start with a question and then you answer it. Maybe some of them start with the proof and then you come with the topic sentence at the end. So there are lots of ways that we can write that's going to just take our writing to the next level, ways that AI is not going to do. This all sounds like a lot of work improving student writing, vocabulary, sentence structure. This is a huge part of protecting them from false accusations. Just one of these points is non-skill based, and that's to use Google Documents and to keep one single document through the whole process. So today, I want to encourage you. I know you've been working really hard to help your student learn to write. And are they struggling? Do they need some help with this? These are some really great places to start. Maybe start running your students' writing through an AI checker. There's some free ones online, and see what it comes up as. Even if you don't believe that they are using AI, it's an important thing to learn how to make sure our writing appears to be above board. And, that makes it sound like it's not above board, but it's all the more important that when we have worked hard at something, that we're not accused of falsehood or plagiarism. So there's nothing that hurts more than being accused of something you didn't do. So let's help our students to understand this world, understand how they can improve their writing, and understand how they can avoid or protect themselves if they are ever accused of using AI in their writing. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are interested in having a mentor come alongside your student, helping them learn to write and to improve their writing at every step, reach out. I'd love to hear from you.